Hello, this is Justice Jason, and welcome to my vlog. Sorry if I sound really awkward. I haven't done a vlog in like many years, so I don't know what's considered proper or adequate to start, but well, for the record, I'm going to, explain why I shouldn't have studied cybersecurity in Singapore, and if I could redo what I could, I probably would try to do things differently. So let's get into it. So basically, back in secondary school, I was in the normal academic stream. It's kind of difficult to say when you graduate in Singapore, but I'll say that graduation happens in like your 10th year of school, 10th year in the American system, but in Singapore we call it secondary 4. So in secondary 4, for my N levels, that's like the high school exam, I think, I didn't do so well. Like I was exceptional in my English, but not so for my mathematics, my science, and other subjects. So I was given so in secondary 4, you could either, apply for a polytechnic course or maybe an ITE course, or you could go on to secondary 5, which would still like guarantee you access to like an ITE course. But since I didn't do too well, I would probably be guaranteed to go on to secondary 5. But that's where the DPP program comes in, the Direct Polytechnic program scheme, I think. So this scheme allows you to go into an higher NITEC course in the ITE, the Institute of Technical Education, and basically, if you do well in your ITE course in higher NITEC, you could be guaranteed to go into Polytechnic. But the problem is that with my low scores, I could not get into any courses for ITE. But that was when I kind of like appealed for cybersecurity. So if you remember back then, I uploaded a video decompiling Doki Doki Literature Club, the famous visual novel horror that's horror based by Dan Salvato. Yeah. So I showcased that I was decompiling the visual novel, which was made in RenPy, which uses a form of Python. And the cybersecurity course advisor was quite impressed by it and put me into the course, despite having bad grades. So at that time, I considered it quite lucky to have entered the course at that time, but later on, it would go very wrong. So you remember when I told you that I didn't do too well for my N levels? I didn't do too well in maths and sciences. Well, it turns out in ITE, you still have to kind of learn to do math. So because I didn't have a good foundation in mathematics, I kind of failed at the bridging maths part that put down my grade point average, my GPA to say the least. And additionally, because at that time, when I was learning cybersecurity, COVID started happening. So that was when everyone had to just stay indoors and start doing their classes remotely. Being as it may, I would be considered someone with like a learning disability, in that I have a very poor attention span. It's very difficult to like focus on things when I'm not in a classroom. And at that time, I was like busy with content creation and also making music videos. So I didn't really focus in class. So that was where I began to like start faltering in cybersecurity. I mean, in cybersecurity, I did learn about SQL servers. I did learn to set up virtualization networks, set up those Cisco routers and connect them to the PCs, hands-on stuff. But when COVID hit, afterwards, we were like kind of learning about Linux and sort of stuff, but because it was because it was at home, I couldn't really focus. I was more focused on like gaming, and I was also focused on making music videos that I didn't really focus on my subjects, and that was when my GPA started to tank. A lot of my coursework didn't get good grades, and a lot of my assignments didn't get handed in either, so I did pretty badly. By the end of those 2 years in cybersecurity, I kind of like ended up with a 1.7 GPA. Now, what does that mean? 1.7 GPA. Well, to put it lightly, the passing grade is 2 GPA. And if you want to be like guaranteed a spot in the Polytechnic after like this 2-year ITE course, higher NITEC course, you have to get like a 3 GPA. Yeah, 2 GPA, you still could probably get it, but you're probably going to be like rejected over those 3 GPA people. Kind of messed up. When I went into the course, I thought that I would be guaranteed like a spot even if I didn't do too well. Not the case. With 1.7 GPA, I was effectively barred from getting into Polytechnic. That's no problem. No problem at all, I thought. Until I realized that career prospects aren't great when you don't exactly get into Polytechnic. Because of my GPA was very low, no companies were willing to, take me up on an internship, so I stayed in the IT college, just doing nothing. I didn't get any way to like push up my GPA because of my poor scoring, so by that time, it just sucked. The only pathway right now that I have is to go into the work-study diploma, but I never realized how competitive the work-study diploma was. Like, I tried to get into the work-study diploma program. It's like over 6 months you have to like try to apply to like a company that would sponsor you for your IT work-study diploma. You would get to study while working on the job, but the problem is that there are much more qualified people out there, and there are too little vacancies for cybersecurity, making it very competitive. And because I didn't get a good score, I was only merely considered by one company, and that company rejected me over another person, which is very demoralizing to say the least. I tried, but I couldn't get in. So, yeah. So as of now, it's been very difficult trying to find a job in cybersecurity. The only like vacancies I can find online these days are internships to cybersecurity companies, but you can't even get a job in help desk or support or anything like that to like get work experience because they want someone who has a Polytechnic diploma or maybe like a cybersecurity degree. But because I fumbled during my higher NITEC course, I only have like a higher NITEC in cybersecurity certificate, which is not good. It's not enough. I keep getting rejected over more qualified people, which sucks. There may be like courses out there that say you could learn cybersecurity this way. You could get into anything, but I'm going to tell you that even if you learn from cybersecurity from those crack courses, you're not going to be guaranteed a place in cybersecurity. In fact, you're going to be even lower than I am when I did my higher NITEC in cybersecurity compared to your quack certificate. Sorry if I seem like I'm being like offensive, but this is coming from someone who has been rejected over 3 whole years trying to look for a job in cybersecurity. It's very, very difficult with a higher NITEC cert. Even if you have like a certificate like that, it's going to cost lots of money to even learn cybersecurity. I haven't even gotten my cybersecurity essentials learned, and I'm already like very, very broke. I'm financially in jeopardy. It's been very difficult, so I can't even find full-time jobs on the market. So at the very most, the best job I could find was as a part-time waiter. I couldn't even find a job as a full-time waiter, so that sucks. So overall, what do I have to say about this? I regret studying cybersecurity. If I knew it was this competitive, like many other jobs, I probably would have studied harder. I probably would have like tried to, well, catch up on my courses with my course advisor, but it seemed like in cybersecurity, the teachers just wanted to like quickly get on with the course work and impart the knowledge instead of like teaching you directly. It's sad really, but what can you do if you didn't listen? The only thing I can do and look back on now is I can look back on what I did, but now I have to like focus on the future. So basically, I probably would have stayed on in the secondary 5 and probably like found my calling in like design and media with my music videos. But since I never stayed in secondary 5, I don't have like the chance to do so. So in secondary 5, there's like a test called the O-levels, different from the N-levels. The N-levels is like baby high school. O-levels is like associate's degree, kind of? No, lower than associate's degree, like a high school passing, maybe. So basically I would have, the thing is taking the O-levels is like a gamble because remember this, I didn't do too well in my N-levels. I didn't do well in mathematics, I didn't do well in sciences, but I only did well in English. So I'm afraid that if I failed all that and still got, like, I got very good marks in English, but didn't get good marks in other subjects, I would be basically rejected from any other job because I didn't do too well in either of my maths or sciences, which I find is kind of unfair. I've been very disadvantaged in like learning mathematics and sciences and other subjects. The only passion I had was in English, so it's very difficult. I'm scared that I would have just used the certificate and I would still be like in the same scenario I was with my higher NITEC cybersecurity certificate. So yeah. So as of now, I'm just trying to consider other jobs. Part-time is good. I'm coping with the fact that I get plenty of exercise, some money, which I can probably spend it more sparingly in Malaysia, which has like a 1-to-3 ratio in the currency exchange. Meaning I can spend 3 times as much in Malaysia compared to Singapore. Yeah. But it's still not like a viable solution. I still have to find a full-time job eventually. I've been considering like maybe content creation. My dad has told me that I have quite the approachable face, approachable accent. I sound amazing. But I have my doubts on that. I've also been considering like getting into the security roles, like as a security guard. That would require me to like go into courses for security, like threat evaluation and management, which could probably take up to a few months, and then I'll have to apply for a security officer license. It's kind of expensive, but not that bad. On my part-time wage, I could probably earn that in like a few months, so it's a consideration I've been considering. Overall, I think that if you're not like serious about cybersecurity, unless you're overly serious about being into cybersecurity, please don't learn cybersecurity. You're going to suffer so hard trying to look for jobs if you don't have like a polytechnic diploma or even a university degree. You will suffer. In Singapore, jobs are very few, and I can't imagine it's better in America or any other place genuinely. So, for those who wanting to learn cybersecurity, maybe stick to your day job and learn something different, something more approachable. Maybe like in the service industry. Lots of service industry roles. Or maybe a different specialized diploma. Don't be like me, where I didn't take my studies seriously and just kind of wasted it away. Thanks for hearing me out. I'm close to 24 years old now, so see you next time when I make another vlog. I wasn't supposed to make this video because I was like busy getting addicted to gaming to like stop the pain, but I've been trying to cut down on gaming, so yeah. I hope to whoever out there is doing who's unemployed right now, or maybe just doing a part-time job, things will get better. Just try to like hold on, reach out, make a vlog about it, and look back on it like months later. If you're improving, that's good. And if you're not, you should probably do something about it. Try to find a friend to talk to it about, and try to get rid of any distractions you see. This was Justice Jason. I'm signing off. Until the next one. Bye!